It's time for Telly Club now, and this week's pick is the new comedy thriller, The Flight Attendant. Well, Janet, that was your choice. You recommend it?
It was fantastically funny and also very thought-provoking, because we're so used to telly being put in boxes. Like, especially the channel it's on, Sky One, has done some of my favourite comedies, like Trolleyed. Still giving Trolleyed a plug. But this was a new breed. So Kaylee Cuoco plays the flight attendant, who's a huge drinker. In fact, she's, well, let's not mince my words, an alcoholic. But you're not aware of that at first. She's knocking back the booze. She has a bit of frisky naughtiness.
She's a party girl.
She's a party girl, bit of frisky naughtiness with a passenger that's strictly against rules. She spends the night with him and she wakes up in bed next morning next to a body. And the whole series is about the consequences of that. And, you know, I found it quite hard to watch in places, because I think, do we really want jokes about being a boozer and having blackouts and all of that stuff? But at the end of the day, she is such a brilliant, brilliant actress. And when it's funny, it's so funny. The comedy is so broad. But at the same time, you're worried on her behalf about the journey that she's on and what's going to happen to her.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised. I thought it was a comedy, and that's why I started watching it. I didn't think it was a comedy, you know, when I finished it, and I really would recommend it as well. I mean, it was darkly comic, I would say, but it was very serious in terms of some of the themes, and really enjoyable. But exactly as you say, there was a lot of kind of joking around the alcoholism of the main character, which for me was the real thing that stood out, rather than the kind of murder mystery bit. I mean, I know, Denise, that you're the queen of crime and you love the murder mysteries. Actually, that wasn't what this was for me. It was a portrait of alcoholism. And I don't know how you feel about the joking around it.
OK. Well, I've only watched 2 episodes and I find it quite full on. I agree with you all. I think Kaylee Cuoco is an amazing actress. Obviously, as the resident loose women crime minister, I struggle with my with the murder side and the comedy side. I like them to be separate. I like to have my drama and then have comedy, something like Schitt's Creek, which I adore, sort of totally separate. So I did struggle a bit with that. I completely understand what you're saying about the alcoholism. As an alcoholic myself, which everybody knows, it's. I think one of the questions is: would you step in? Would you step in? You know, would you intervene if you see somebody spiraling out of control? And the answer is, speaking as someone who was spiraling out of control for years, many people tried to step in, but unless you're ready to stop, nobody can stop you. Very interesting. When I was writing it's very personal, but when I was writing my book about depression, I asked my family and best friends to create the final chapter. And when I saw the piece that my sister Debbie had written, it really, really impacted on me, because she spoke about how during my drinking and spiraling days, she had actually wanted to have an intervention. And my dad had actually said no. He was worried about how that would impact on the family. But because I wouldn't listen, the people who loved me the most were the people who wanted me to stop the most. Yeah. And of course, I wasn't ready. It's very hard. Yeah. I will myself make jokes about it sometimes, but that's kind of to hide your own shame. The other thing is, for many years, I was enabled by many people, because there's a lot of people who don't see the dark, miserable, destructive side of your drinking. They just see the bit where you're at the nightclub getting everybody in and they go, you don't have to stop.
I guess that's what's really clever about it, because a lot of the things we find really difficult in life, we do deal with through humour, don't we, Brenda?
Well, I was going to say, you know, as Denise says, I'm a perfect person who, anything traumatic, I block it out, or I try and cover it with humour. So from the opening scenes of this, I mean, I watched the whole thing. I got
in one sitting?
Yes, in one sitting. Because I'm the box set. I love watching a box set. You know, I vegetate over things like that. But when I got the email, the message in the afternoon after we finished the show yesterday to watch this, I was like, OK, I'm on it. And I sat there, I got all my food ready, I had my little cup of tea there, and I sat there from 3 o'clock and I watched all of them. And it was gripping. That's all I had to. But it was... I thought to myself, as Denise says, you know, there's this saying that they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that's how I got so many different things out of that. But the main thing was, you know, start talking to people, and you just never know, they might just open up and you can save somebody, save a life.
Yeah, well, that's what I, as a bystander, I thought, my goodness, there's not an awful lot you can do
But
in that
it is
situation.
well. I mean, we're making it sound gloomier than it is.
No,
because
it's
a
great.
brilliant. I think it's a brilliantly written show.
No, I totally agree, Jan. I loved it.